Okay, so boys and girls, we have talked about the life cycle of a plant. Now we're going to move on and we're going to be talking about what are some animal life cycles. And what we have is a picture, and you were really drawn to this picture of what are these? What's going on in this picture? What do you see going on here? What do you see? Oh, wait for the bell. What do you see going on here? Santiago? A bird is giving food to the baby, and that's part of a life cycle that we see going on there. So, and it says like many animals, adult birds take care of their babies so they can survive. Because could a baby bird survive without its mother taking care of it? No. Now, some animals do go off and the mother animal does not have to take care of it. In this case, obviously, a baby bird does need its mother to take care of it. Yes?
As an example, a mother turtle just leaves its baby's eggs.
Okay. A mother what?
A mother turtle. It goes back into the ocean and it doesn't take care of the babies.
Oh, it doesn't take care of the eggs. You're right. It does not. The eggs hatch without the mother. In this case, the mother has to be there for the eggs. It sits on the eggs sometimes, but it's there to help take care of the babies. So, but by the end of this lesson, let's see if I can go down a little bit. You're going to learn more about the life cycle of an animal, and you'll be able to learn more about the stages of an animal life cycle. So here, let's look. It says, can you explain it? It says, guess who? Watch the video to discover more about one stage in an animal's life cycle. This animal is in the early stages of its life cycle. So we'll watch the video to see if you can figure out a little bit about it. I'm going to turn that off. Let's see, is the video going to work? Let's going to go on with the video.
You may have seen this animal outside on a leaf. You may have seen it flying around as an adult. The adult doesn't look anything like this. Like all plants and animals, this living thing is going through its life cycle stages. Hatching from an egg was the earlier stage. Since it hatched, it has grown a lot. It has been eating and eating and eating. To prepare for its next stage in the life cycle, it will need to eat a lot more. This animal does not look like the adult it will become right now, but it will soon.
Okay. What kind of animal do you think this is? Do you have any guesses as to what this is?
You may have seen this animal.
Sorry. I have to minimize them here.
Guess who? Watch the video.
Sorry. So, what animal do you think that is? You have choices there about what you think that animal is in your book. Do you think it is the ladybug? That's a ladybug right there. That was the animal in the video. So what we want you to do is I want you to think about which photo shows the adult animal of the animal in the video. Do you think it is that ladybug? Do you think it could be, oh, I thought the video was, oh, technical difficulties. Okay. Do you think it is that butterfly, or do you think it's the cicada, boys and girls? So look in your book. So the animal that you saw was in the early stages of its life cycle. And it's not going to look like that as it ages. So what you are going to do, because it had just hatched from its egg, now it's getting ready to go into the next stage of its life cycle. So which photo in your book shows the adult stage of the animal above that we just saw the video of? And what makes you think that that's the adult stage of the larva? That's what we call that, the larva. Which one do you think it is? Do you think it is the ladybug, which is the red one on the leaf? We all know what the ladybug looks like, that's on the flower. Do you think it is the butterfly, or do you think it's the cicada? Which one do you think it is? Yes.
The butterfly?
You think it's the butterfly. Why do you think it's the butterfly?
Well, because all butterflies start out hatching out of eggs, and then they look like then they're caterpillars, and then they go into a cocoon, which is the next cycle of its life, and then it turns into a larva.
Okay, so you think that. That's a good reasoning. Write that down in your book. You're going to write down your reasons for whatever you guess. What do you think, Rose? Which one do you think it is? Do you think it's the ladybug, the butterfly, or the cicada? Which of those three? You think it's the cicada. Why do you think it's the cicada? What about,
Because it doesn't look anything like a caterpillar or...
so to you it doesn't look like the butterfly or the ladybug? It looks more like that cicada to you. Okay. What do you think, Claire?
I think it's a cicada because it looks exactly like it is the same colors as it is in the book.
Okay, so the colors are the same to you. So that animal looks to you like the cicada, which we're not seeing here. We're not seeing it here, but it's in your book. John, what do you think it is?
I think it's a cicada because most caterpillars have tiny legs that are on the bottom. They don't really stretch out that much.
Okay. Okay, that's a good reason to think that. What do you think, Evelyn?
I think it's the cicada. Actually, the butterfly.
So you think it's the butterfly. And why do you think it's the butterfly? What do you think it's the larva of the butterfly?
Because it kind of looks like a caterpillar.
Okay, it looks like a caterpillar. What do you think, Logan?
The butterfly.
Okay, the butterfly. And why do you think it's the butterfly?
Because the ladybug and the cicada don't look like the bug in the picture.
It doesn't look like the bug in the picture. What do you think, Lucas?
It's a butterfly because in the book Hungry Caterpillar, the caterpillar is eating a lot of the leaves, and in the video, and in the picture or video, it shows the whatever it is on the leaf eating it.
Okay, so you're using some of your past knowledge. Remember we've talked about using your schema, things that you've read before and learned about before for knowledge of things that you're studying now. Very good. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to write down what animal you think that is, ladybug, butterfly, or cicada, and your reasons for thinking so. So everybody write it down if you haven't already done so. Your guess. Whichever one you think it is and your reasons for thinking so. That's what's important is you write down what you think it is and why you think it is that animal. That's what's important, that we're gonna make a guess.
Butterfly.
And there's the butterfly, where we get a good picture of it, and there's the cicada.
Cicada.
Okay? Those are just the pictures. And boys and girls, interestingly enough, my book doesn't tell me which one it is. So your guess is going to be your guess. And boys and girls, if you are wrong, I mean, you're just making a guess right now. So we do not need to be worried because your guesses may be incorrect because animals can change drastically throughout their life cycles. And you're going to be able to revisit the question and revisit your answer by the end of the lesson. So right now, we don't know the answer to your question. Okay, so we're going to have to wait and see what our answer is. at the end of the lesson, so don't go ahead. Okay? But for right now, we're going to move on to exploration 1, which is something that you're pretty familiar with. Yes, Gabe? What? That's called a cicada. This is a cicada. I don't know what it's called. We have to wait till the end of the lesson to find out. So let's go to exploration 1 called Stage by Stage. And this is an animal that I'm pretty sure everybody here is familiar with. It's called It's a Dog's Life. How many of you here like dogs? I know I do. I mean, not everybody likes dogs, but I'm going to say, oh, I see everybody's hand up. Most people like dogs. It says, in lesson 1, you learned that dandelions and other plants go through life stages. So we went through the life stage of some plants. The life stages of plants happen in a certain order. Animals also have life cycles that happen in a certain order, just like people do. Animals have a certain order to their life cycle. So, let's look. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and try not to go too crazy here. And it says, explore the image to discover the different stages of a dog by selecting each hot spot. So let's look at the different stages in a dog's life. Okay? So here's what we have. We have got right here. That's an adult dog with a litter. This adult dog has just completed the reproduction stage of life and is shown here with her puppies. So the reproduction stage of life, that's where they reproduce. Where they reproduce meaning they have puppies. Then here, this puppy is in the growth stage of its life cycle. The growth stage. This dog is nearing the end of its life cycle and will eventually die. Death is the end of a life cycle. That's the less cheery part of our life cycle here, boys and girls. And then here, oh, this puppy has just been born. Birth is the first stage in the life cycle of some animals. Okay. Were these in order? Was that in order? No, it wasn't in order. So now it says, arrange the photos so they are in the correct order of a dog's life cycle. Oh, we already did it. Oh, let me redo it. Let me see. Okay, so let's do it. It says arrange the photos so they are in the correct order of a dog's life cycle. So here we have reproduction, birth, death, growth. So what do you think would be the first in the life cycle of a dog? What do you think would come first? What comes first? Ava? Birth. Okay, I'll move it first. Then what comes next? What comes next? Logan? Growth. What comes next then? What comes next? Bryson? Reproduction. And then we have death. So let's check. Very, very good. So boys and girls, at the bottom of your page, you have those. So let's write them. It says birth, growth, reproduction, and death. Yes, you have a question?
No, I want to change my answer to a
Well, you can do that. You can do that if you want to change your answer. Okay? So here's what you're going to do. On the bottom of your page, on the bottom of page 210, we have got the life cycle of a dog. Please write those answers in if you have not done so. So let me ask you this, boys and girls. how can we identify the stage when a dog is an adult? How do we know? Which stage is when a dog is an adult? What happens when a dog is an adult? Which of these stages helps us know that? What is going on? John?
The reproduction.
What?
The reproduction.
Yes, the dog starts reproducing. And they stop doing what? What aren't they doing anymore? Gabe? They stop doing something here. What? Yes, they stop growing. They stop growing and they start reproducing. That's that stage of a dog. And what kind of information could a dog owner collect about a puppy as it develops into adulthood? What kind of information would somebody collect about their puppy as it's going into adulthood? Yes, Logan.
When it drinks water, not milk.
Okay, yes. What it's drinking. What else would you collect? What other kind of information would you need about your puppy? Yes.
If it's like, maybe if it's eating way more, if it's eating less.
What it's eating, very good. What the puppy's eating, yes.
What it likes to play with.
Yes, what it's playing, how much it's playing, yes.
How much activity it's doing.
What kind of activity, yes, the amount of activity, yes.
If it's sleeping a lot.
How much it's sleeping, John.
How much energy it has.
How much energy it has, Hector.
How much time to live.
How much what?
How much time to live.
Well, that, I don't know, that you really can't tell. But we're thinking about, yes,
How fast it's running.
how fast it's running. How about how much it weighs? That might be something when you go. The vet always tells you how much your puppy weighs, how tall it is, right? Just like when you went to the doctor. I almost said when you went to the vet, but you never went to the vet when you were little. You always went to the pediatrician. But how much you weigh, your puppy goes and it gets weighed, and it goes and they tell you how tall your puppy is, how long your puppy is, so they give you all that information, the eating habits, its behavior, things like that. So that's what you find out when you go to the vet. Very good. Now, here's something very interesting that we're going to talk about. This is called engineer it. I think we're being followed. So scientists often use a global positioning system, or GPS, device to study animals. A GPS uses satellites to help track the animals as they move or migrate to new areas. Some penguins migrate to a new location when it is time to reproduce. The tracking devices help scientists follow the animals to learn more about their life cycles. So scientists will put tracking devices on animals to see where they're going. They want to track them. They want to see where they are going because they're interested to see what is going on with those animals. So here are some penguins. And it says, watch the video to discover more about global positioning systems. This video shows how GPS helps track penguin migration. So interesting. So let me see if I can do that.
Every March, at the end of summer in the southern hemisphere, emperor penguins migrate inland to lay their eggs. What is unusual about this is that, unlike most animals, the penguins migrate when the weather is turning colder and growing harsher. To better understand the migration of different types of penguins, scientists have placed tiny electronic tags to some of them to track their movements. These tags are equipped with GPS, a technology that pinpoints exactly the location of anything that is tagged with it.
Okay, so how interesting is that? So they tag the penguins because they want to know where they are going. And then that way they can learn more about their habits and what they are doing. Now, it says here, examine these pictures and information to discover more about how GPS can be used to track animals. This penguin is wearing a satellite tag. Do you see it, boys and girls? The wire is an antenna that sends information to the satellite. Now here, examine these pictures and information to discover more about how GPS can be used to track animals. Scientists can place GPS radio collars on animals to track their movement. You see how these lions have collars on them? So they could see where they are out in the wild. They have to tranquilize them to put it on, obviously. Yes?
You tranquilize them, it's kind of like they're asleep for a couple, if it's like a big one, it'll be for like a couple hours. If it's like a little one, it's like 10 or 5 minutes.
I don't even think they do have them asleep for even a couple hours. They try to keep them as fast as they can. Yes, Rosie? Wow, Roscoe's has been with you a long time, Rosie. Very cool. So here, boys and girls, it says some animals are tracked with a chip that is injected under their skin. So they put that under their skin to track them. Isn't that interesting? And then these scientists are tracking animals after an oil spill. So sometimes, you know, they have oil tankers on the ocean that's filled with oil. And sometimes there's an accident and the oil is spilled. So what they do is they have to track the marine animals after that spill to see what kind of effect that oil spill has had on those animals. So they're tracking them. And then here's that penguin again. That was actually the first picture, but we had it all the way on the last. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to try to figure out, oops. Bad news there, boys and girls. Okay, let's see. What can scientists learn about penguins tagged with tracking devices? Select all the correct answers. I hope you are looking at the answers. Can it tell us where the animals are located, boys and girls? Yes or no? Yes. Can it tell us what the animals eat? No. Can it tell us how tall the animals are? No. Can it tell us how long the animals stay in one place? Yes. So everybody check that on your page. And we'll check to see if we're right. Yes. A tracking device tells scientists where the animals are located and how long they stay in one place. So those are the things that we can tell from a tracking device. Now, boys and girls, we're going to stop right now. So we are learning such interesting things about animals, and we'll continue. No, we're okay. We're at a stopping place in our book. We're at the end of a page, so that's perfect.